some games are remembered with names. This one will be the Campbell Gamble. And it paid off in a huge way. I want you to pay attention to the chances of these things happening. With the win last night, Detroit now has an 80% chance to get the 1 seed in the NFC, according to our analytics. They have a huge advantage over Philly in the first 4 tiebreakers in the event they were to be tied. Even a loss to Buffalo next week would not hurt because it's an AFC loss. It would barely affect this number. We talked about it a lot going into this game yesterday. Last night was going to decide the 1 seed in the NFC. If the Lions lost, and they were awfully close to doing it, then it was a free-for-all. And with the Lions win, they, for all intents and purposes, put the NFC on ice. So I asked a very simple question to you, Ryan Clark. Are the Lions the best team? They are not definitively the best team.
Well, you can finish.
Yes. Who's the best? The
Philadelphia Eagles are the best.
Are the best team in the NFC,
without a doubt. I have no problem saying that, and I love the Lions. I'm with you. I think the Lions are a team that has shown that they can win the football game in so many ways, and the way that they execute down the stretch shows how great of a strategist that Dan Campbell is, and also some of the risks that they take that are calculated, playing with 4 downs to get 10 yards. All of those things are good. You've lost too many good players to go beat a team that still has all of theirs. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to pick up on that. Post-trade deadline, you always look at the analysis. How is this team going to get better? Where I disagree, RC, is they're going to get some of those guys back. So I actually think they can be better a month from now because they could actually be healthier.
I feel like the continuity that the Philadelphia Eagles have built, the way that their top-end football players are playing on both the defensive side of the ball and offensively. Jalen Carter right now is possibly the best interior lineman in all of football.
Yeah.
On the back end, Quinyon Mitchell has become a star at the corner position. Cooper DeJean, a constant playmaker. Nakobe Dean taking that step up. Defensively, this team, to me, is head and shoulders above what the Detroit Lions are. Now, when you talk about the offensive side of the football, Saquon Barkley can do everything that both Sonic and Knuckles can do together, right? Saquon Barkley's continue to stay healthy. A.J. Brown, you want to put A.J. Brown on that back end one-on-one? You want to put Devontae Smith on that back end one-on-one with the offensive linemen that the Philadelphia Eagles have? To me, the Philadelphia Eagles are the best team in the NFC.
I mean, you talk about Sonic and Knuckles, and you talk about 2 players combined, and one is Saquon Barkley, but all the carries go on 1 pair of legs. And you talk about a guy that's on pace to carry the ball 396 times. The most he's ever carried the ball is 246. So can he stay healthy, and can you be too dependent on Saquon Barkley? What I love about the Lions, what I love about Green Bay is that anybody can get you. You don't go in there with Green Bay like, who am I going to stop? The defense dictates where the ball goes. And you talk about the Green Bay Packers, 25 years old. They're losing, but they're winning at the same time because they're gaining experience. And when they get into the playoffs, they're going to have them live young legs. They're going to have the fear of not having fear because they're too young to know they're supposed to be afraid.
Call me stupid, Bart. I'd rather know that the ball's going to A.J. Brown than be like, hey, we don't know where it's going.
Well, the problem is the defense knows that the ball's going to A.J. Brown, and you could be goaded into something because you talk about, running the football, but Jalen Hurts is good, not great.
Here's how I would look at it. You tell me if I'm oversimplifying it. There were 4 units on the field in that game if the Eagles play the Lions. Neither team may dress their punter if those teams play each other, right? So there's just, realistically speaking, 3 of them are outstanding, and 1 of them is a question mark, right? I mean, the Eagles and Lions offenses both outstanding. Yeah. The Eagles defense is phenomenal. They've become I think that Vic Fangio is the coach of the year. And the Lions defense is a question mark. To me, that's how I would try and, if I'm differentiating between these teams.
Question mark held the Green Bay Packers under 300 yards with backups. So if you're telling me that Lions and the Eagles are playing in the NFC Championship game, which would be what, about 8 weeks from now?
Yeah.
7, 8? Who's hurt?
Right.
And all right?
I agree.
Because look, the injury rate is 100% in this league. Like something's going to go wrong. We are seeing what the Lions look like when something goes wrong. And it's still pretty good.
Right.
We've seen what the Eagles look like when stuff goes wrong, and it's not good. So I think if that's the thing. I think the Lions are built. The season turns on like how good your number 3 defensive tackle is, how your 4th string right guard. The Lions seem like they have that, and we don't know that about the other teams.
There's something very fundamental here, guys. They get the bye. Like Philadelphia would have the extra game, and the other. I've called a bunch of Detroit's game on ESPN Radio. I mean, that is home field advantage. I mean, that is really loud. So I just think with the bye week and the home field, That's like taking nothing away from Philly.
No.
I think that's why Detroit.
And to me, like, I understand the home field advantage. I think that matters, but also the team that's playing best at that time and healthiest matter. Like, I can be honest. I've been to 2 Super Bowls. I was never the number 1 seed.
Right.
Why did I get to 2 Super Bowls? Because the Baltimore Ravens went out and beat the Tennessee Titans.
Before this season started, all of us who cover football for this network made our predictions.
I think I had the Packers.
And 3 people sitting at this table, RC, Mike Tannenbaum, and myself, all picked the Packers to win the NFC, and we all picked Jordan Love to be the league MVP. Of the 3 of us, don't look so forlorn. The Packers part of it, I think, is not over yet. Why do you look so sad by this?
Because I wasn't right. I was not right.
Well, Jordan Love's not going to be the MVP.
Yeah.
That part of it is clear. Let's take this in 2 pieces.
Yeah.
Let's start with him. What the 3 of us saw was a player who down the stretch of last season ascended like nothing. And I think we all made the assumption, and clearly erroneously, that it was just going to keep going in that direction. They paid him based on that and all the rest of it. His season has been good. Has it been good enough? Is he as what do we think?
It hasn't been good enough to this point when you take into account the knee injury in Brazil. You also had the groin injury later on in the season. But when you look at the way that he threw the football last night, you started to see a lot of those things you saw down the stretch. He started to protect the football more than he was early on in the season as well. So I do believe that Jordan Love is trending upwards. And I believe that the Green Bay Packers can still fulfill one of those predictions that the 3 of us made, which is not only be a contender, but win the NFC.
And here's why. We are a long, long way to go. Graz mentioned it earlier. And one of the many reasons, everything you said about his youth, I think he's actually moving a lot better than he has been. But their depth separates them. When we get into Dontarius Wicks,